What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to New York Down South, the show where we talk Big Apple sports down south. Today, I've got a couple things to get into. Getting into the second half of the year with baseball. The Yankees started off their second half. A lot of thoughts there. And then today we also got some big questions facing what the New York Giants are going to be doing this training camp and this offseason. Can't believe we're finally at the point where training camp is beginning this week. I believe rookies report the 23rd. But going to get into that, what we can expect from the John Harbaugh era. But really quick, before we get into all that, just have to give my thoughts on the World Cup final. I think overall, and just the World Cup in general, I think overall, World Cup was great. Wasn't crazy about the expansion of the field. I think it made it so that the group games were a little less exciting, but there were still a ton of great games, and even throughout, like the World Cup, I thought was fantastic. Being in Atlanta, there was a stage set here for a lot of the games, and so the fact that and some of the fan fests and things, I'm sad that's going to be over because those were a blast to go to. So overall, well done. I think FIFA did a good job, but yeah, getting to the final. I thought it was a really, really brutal game to watch. I was glad that Spain ended up winning for multiple reasons. But, just an overall, just not exciting game. I mean, a lot of that has to do with the brand that Spain plays, which is kind of beautiful to watch, just the control they have. I'm not going to nerd out on soccer because this isn't a soccer podcast, but, not a lot of attacks. I mean, Argentina, I think, had 0 shots on goal, which you can't win if you don't shoot. So, they just got outclassed in every way, which I never felt like they were one of the top 2 teams. They had a lot of magic happen to them, but I got to be honest, I thought their performance on the field and then off the field was disgusting. I thought it was disgusting in multiple times throughout this World Cup. Their last World Cup run when they ran it all, I'm just not a fan of how they conduct themselves. I'm not even a Messi hater. I just I'm all for gamesmanship and all that good stuff, but it just got to the point where they weren't a team I rooted for to win. But I as a Real Madrid fan, didn't really have a lot of Madrid guys on Spain. Well, 1 or 2 now, but some guys that I would want. But a lot of those Spanish players really deserving of the World Cup. So, anyways, not the best World Cup final, but overall, I give the World Cup an A. It was fun. Sad it's over, and those World Cup years are always great because during this time of year, you're really just in the dog days of summer and beyond. Once basketball and hockey ends, is really not a lot going on in the sports world until football starts back up again and we get towards the end of the baseball season with playoffs starting. So always happy for World Cup years and looking forward to 2030 when it goes to Spain and Portugal and Morocco. That should be super exciting. Maybe one that I'll actually try and attend. So we'll see. But anyways, now getting into the teams that we are actually here to talk about. So All-Star weekend ended. Yankees kicked things off against the Dodgers. Brutal series. A lot to do. Was very, very grateful that we were able to sneak one yesterday, but that was very easily a losable game. A lot of that because of the stuff we were doing. Cam Schlittler had the blow up yesterday in that first game, but I just overall, I think it's just the same story that we've been talking about through this just horrific stretch of baseball the Yankees have been playing, and that is our offense just being absolutely, positively anemic. An anemic, dead offense. No one extending at bats, no one driving in runs. I mean, yesterday in game 2, we should have lost that. We could have easily lost that second game. And I honestly, starting with the first game, I thought Garrett Cole pitched it's Garrett effing Cole. He pitched fantastic. I mean, I have no problem leaving Boone leaving him in. I actually prefer when Boone trusts his guys like that and empowers his guys. Especially a guy like Garrett Cole. I mean, it's Garrett effing Cole. He pitched great. Should have gotten Muncy out. Was a strike that wasn't called, but whatever. It got over the end. But at the end of the day, we scored one run. We scored one run, and if it was off of an error against Sasaki, who has had a 5+ ERA going into the game. We're just not hitting. We're just not hitting. We're not hitting at all. So we score one run in that game. And then in the doubleheader yesterday, which I was worried we were going to get swept for sure, it was a miracle that we won that second game. I honestly, it felt like we were like the Dodgers were just playing. I don't know. I just the Yankees is currently constructed are just we're not equipped to win a World Series right now. But yeah, in the first game, of that doubleheader yesterday, it sucked seeing Cam Schlittler struggle. But he needed 98 pitches to get through 4 1/3. You wanted to see a little bit more from him there. But again, it was just a situation where he was just getting no help as well. It's felt like he's had a lot on his shoulders. So again, and then freaking Jake Bird comes in the game and just, they sent him down to AAA before the second game of the doubleheader. But yeah, that game just got away from us. But yeah, and then in the second game, we had a bullpen game, and we were lucky to win 2-1. And in that game, the moment that stuck out to me where I was like, we deserve to lose this game, I forget, I think it was bottom of the 5th, bottom of the 6th. We get Rice, Bellinger, Goldschmidt on base, 0 outs. Nothing. No outs. All 3 guys go on base. Dominguez comes up, uncompetitive at bat, gets out. Jazz Chisholm comes up, uncompetitive at bat, gets out. And then the king of suck, Anthony Volpe, comes up. And I took that time to go to the bathroom, refill my water, because I just knew he was going to strike out. And what did he effing do? He struck out. That just cannot happen. And it's tough, too, because, I'm one of those guys that I think the regular season, when you're playing these really good teams that you have a potential to match up with in the postseason or, the World Series, it's important to beat those teams or look like you can beat those teams. Letting Yoshinobu Yamamoto go 9 strong against us without a whimper, that's just not a good look. I don't know what we do to turn this around. And Yoshi Yamamoto is an unbelievable pitcher, but Sasaki, he's had an okay year. Like, how are we only able to get one run off of them? Just one run off of them in that first game, and Cole pitched a beauty. Cole pitched a beauty, and then our bullpen came in and shut the door. But like, Cole, I can't even blame our pitching staff, and it's really, I haven't been able to blame our pitching staff. We've had a couple of no-shows from our starters, and specifically the ones that, like, during the postseason it doesn't really matter, like Weathers and Warren. Like, I'm not really worried about those guys having a crappy game. Those are our 5th, 6th starters, whatever. But for our bullpen has struggled, but we still have, I think the Yankees bullpen has the lowest ERA, I think, in the league right now. So, the bullpen still needs to get better. There's a lot of question marks back there. But Bednar, absolute nails. Fernando Cruz, nails. Like, those guys have been outstanding. This whole swoon that's, like, continued for the past, like, month and a half, 2 months now, it definitely is. I blame our hitting. I blame our hitting big time. The fact that we were able to steal one of these games against the Dodgers, it was nothing short of a miracle. I thought for sure we were going to get swept. I thought for sure, especially considering, our best guy got shelled in game one of the doubleheader. But we stole one, and that's good because it's keeping us at pace. But, yeah, going back to our hitting, I don't know. Our offense is just anemic, and I think the part that's been the big topic of conversation too is just we have these empty at bats at the bottom of the lineup. That's obvious. Wells needs to go. Volpe needs to go. Dominguez needs to go. Caballero's all right, but even Trent Grisham, who leads off for us, I hated when we brought him back. I know it's for the 1-year deal, but I just hated it. He's as great as a defensive center fielder he is. Like I don't. He does nothing for me. But the people that I have been most, because I expect bad play from non-hitting from those guys that I just mentioned, but it has just been so disappointing. Cody Bellinger has been awful. Goldschmidt's been bad. Ben Rice has been still solid. Jazz Chisholm has been awful as well. He feels like an automatic out. And I wonder if he put too much expectations of himself on this season, and that's why he's having the kind of performance that he is having. But just Cody Bellinger, man, we brought you in here to be a guy for us, and I know Judge being out, you lose some of that protection, but at the same time, that shouldn't matter, man. I'm a big Cody Bellinger fan. I've loved him since he was with the Dodgers. I think he's a terrific ball player. I was glad we brought him back on the deal. We were able to get him back on. But my goodness, brother, you just got, we're just not hitting. And that's the scary part. Because it looks like we got some decent news on Aaron Judge. It looks like he is going to be back, but it is going to be in that September range, which is good news and bad news because it just feels like we need him back immediately. And you just have to hope that we can stay in contention. We're starting a series against the Pirates this week. We need to absolutely sweep the Pirates. We need to stay in contention, which I think we could do. The Red Sox have been helping us out big time, but they are on our ass now. The Red Sox are on our ass. 13 freaking games in a row. They're helping, they've helped us with the Rays. I think they cut the lead down to we're 3 losses back in the loss column, I believe. They've helped us out, but they're on our ass, and they're coming. And I don't know what the hell happened and what got into them, but they're coming. So we've got to wake the F up, or else next thing you know, they're going to win the division. So we need to get better, and we need to get better fast. I mean, some of these bats that I'm talking about, they just need to wake up. They need to wake up. But ultimately, again, none of that matters if Aaron Judge doesn't come back and if we don't get some help. But Aaron Judge, I think he'll be good to go. It's September. It's just the thing with that, though, is that the trade deadline's coming up at the first week of August. You have to operate, if you're Brian Cashman, thinking that Aaron Judge is not going to come back. You got to. You got to operate that way. And just go for it. And this is where, Brian Cashman really has a chance to up his reputation or tarnish it even more, in my opinion. I think this trade deadline is going to be monumental. I think there are players out there that we can go get that will improve this team. And if I'm Brian Cashman at this point, with the exception of maybe George Lombard and Lagrange, everyone is on the table. I don't want to hear anything about, we want to keep this prospect. We have high hopes about this prospect. How's Anthony Volpe turned out? How's Austin Wells turned out? How's Jason Dominguez turned out? How does Spencer Jones look when he's been up? Again, I know we have Cam Schlittler and Ben Rice, but I didn't even hear those guys. The ones that were highly touted are the guys that I just mentioned. So you can get the hell out of here with all that. Like, damn those prospects. Damn them. Like, F them picks. F them picks. Mikal Bridges style. F them picks. F them prospects. I guess for baseball, it's not F them picks. F them prospects. But F them picks. I don't know. Trade picks. That's even a thing you could do in baseball. I actually don't. I probably should know that. But, yeah, anything should be on the table. And we need bullpen help. Be happy to get a starter. But we need bats. We need bats. We need Cashman to go out there and get bats. And the thing with getting bats is, like, there's some positions where the bats are so bad that even just an average hitter, slightly above average hitter, will be a massive... Austin Wells is hitting 150. He is a professional baseball player, and he's hitting 150. $150. There's that say, people, I can do, I might actually be, I might maybe be able to do that. Maybe. Run into enough pitches that I can hit about 140, 150. So for me, getting a catcher that can still catch at a high level and hit a league average of like 230 or 240, that's a major upgrade. That's almost a 100-point upgrade from what you have now, which is auto out. Austin Wells is an automatic out every time he gets up to the plate. Every time he gets up to the plate, he's an automatic out. Not everyone in our lineup is going to hit 300 and be a stud at the plate. We cannot go into another post. I just feel like every postseason we go into, it's like the bottom 3 or 4 in our lineup is just automatic outs. We cannot have that if we expect to contend. We just can't do it. We can't do it. We cannot. And as great as it will be if Aaron Judge comes back, we have to pretend like he's not going to be here because he pretty much, mid-September, that's it. We're going to be close to the postseason. And we need to still focus on getting to the postseason. And at the rate that we're playing games right now, I don't know if we're going to be able to hang on. So if I'm Brian Cashman, I am putting all my chips to the table and I'm getting bats. I'm getting players. I'm getting guys that know how to play baseball, know how to hit, know how to work counts, know situational baseball, like no defense. Like, just watching this Dodgers-Yankees series this weekend. The Dodgers, they spend all the money in the world. Like, they got Kyle Tucker, and he's having an absolute nightmare season. But they also got guys like Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Tommy Edman, Shohei, obviously. They have guys that just, like, there was a relay out that got Trent Grisham out. I think that was in the very first game. We would have tied it up. They just look like they know what they're doing. They just look like they know what they're doing. And baseball is weird. I'm not going to chalk that up to amazing coaches. They just have guys that look overly competent. I just feel like I don't know, it just feels like we're turning into a little bit of a clown show. And I know it's probably a major overreaction, whatever. It just feels like we're turning into a bit of a clown show. And I know it's had a lot to do with injuries, but still, like, Cody's the guy that we signed. A lot of these guys are our prospects. Dominguez, Volpe, Wells, they're our prospects. Trent Grisham, we brought back on $20 million. He's been fine. The shoe. What effing ever. Caballero's been good, but even Ryan McMahon is a solid third baseman, but like he's hitting 219. The offense is just too inconsistent. It's just too inconsistent. I just worry. There just needs to be moves made. And if there was ever a season where Brian Cashman doesn't hold on to his prospects, just gets rid of them, and just does what needs to be done, it is this season. This is the season. Because as I said on my last show, with Aaron Judge, he comes back this season great. He might not. But next season, what's he going to look like, man? We don't know. He's getting up there. It's a big body. It's a big body that needs a lot of maintenance. There's going to be more injuries as he continues to go. Like, let's capitalize while we can. Let's get Luis Arias. Let's get Rafael Devers. Let's get Ryan Jeffers. Let's get these guys and let's try to do something. Let's try to do something. Shit, let's go get Francisco Lindor. The Mets are trying to get rid of him. I know that's like not a real possibility. It's more of a, dude, let's do something. Let's do something. Cashman, I feel like he has to know that. I feel like he has to know that and has to understand that. I'm just worried. I just feel like he's been just this all-world prospect hugger this past like decade. And he just can't be that right now. He just can't. He has to go all in. I would trade many top prospects, maybe beyond probably George Lombard, but I would trade Spencer Jones. I'd trade Dominguez. It seems like the Martian, I mean, he is just so whatever. He's been such a letdown. I thought he was going to be a beast for us. He's been nothing. Volpe is, I can't even, watching Volpe take an at-bat makes me want to throw up in my mouth. It's brutal. It's an automatic out every time. He's batting, I think, 0-5-0 with runners in scoring position. That is preposterously bad. And the other day when he had two outs, I just knew he was going to strike out. I knew it. He's just not a good baseball player. He's not it. He's not a major leaguer. At least for this team, it's just not worked out. I can't stand seeing that guy in the Yankees uniform and seeing him go out there. Like every time, even there was a double play. I think it was in the first game yesterday. I think it was the first game. And it was hit to him. He was playing, and he barely fielded the ball cleanly, but like he got it. But like when a ball's hit at him, I never trust the guy's going to make the play. I just don't trust. He has a weak arm. I don't trust his dude. I need to stop talking about this, or else I'm going to go on the rest of this show is going to be just about how much I just can't stand seeing Anthony Volpe play. He again, I talked about this a little last week. He is in that Aaron Hicks, Jacoby Ellsbury, Joey Gallo category for me. He needs to be off the team. He just needs to be off the team. He's just not a good player. So anything would be help. And if I'm Brian Cashman, you need a couple bullpen arms, but my first priority is getting dependable bats in the lineup. We need dependable bats in the lineup. We just need it. We need dependable bats in the lineup. We can't expect our pitchers to win every single game 2-1. We just can't expect our pitchers to do that. We need to start hitting for them. I mean, my gosh, and even just 3-4 runs a game, let's get back to that. We can't even do that. It's every time we put the game we won yesterday. I mean, we hit those occasional home runs, and Jazz luckily got a hold of one, but we can't count on. Yeah, because counting on the long ball has worked out so well for us the past 15 years. We can't continue to count on the long ball to win us games. Maybe with Judge and Stanton, but not the rest of the lineup. We know it needs to be done. The rotation, there's nothing really to say about the starting rotation. I think when we get Rodon and Max Fried back, we're going to be, working our way back there. And I think we've been fine in the starting rotation department. And once those two guys get back, I think we're going to be locked and loaded. Luckily, they're working their way back, which is amazing news. So hopefully those guys will be back quickly and back to doing their thing. And I think we can trust a rotation in the playoffs of Fried, Schlittler, Cole, and Rodon. I feel really good about that. The Yankees are still alive. they have enough talent to still make this run, or not make this run. They don't have enough talent to make a run. They have, I think, enough to keep them competitive, or in the race at least for now. But to make a run, we need to do a whole lot. We need to get Aaron Judge back, which we can't count on, but we need Cashman to. It is sink or swim time, Cashman. It's not like these next 2 weeks are going to be so important. I'm going to be on Trade Watch for sure, giving you updates on that. But as soon as things come in, I'll be letting you guys know. But we need to be building a complete team here by the deadline, and not just surviving. Like there are pieces out there to go get that can help us. Go do it, whatever it freaking takes, Cashman. Go get those pieces. I know he can get aggressive, but I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna be positive this time around. I believe that Cashman knows what needs to be done, and he'll get it right this year. And he'll go all in, and we're gonna get Aaron Judge back and Stanton back, and we're gonna go on a run and win this freaking World Series because we're due. And we need to get the job done. It's funny, I saw a meme the other day where it was like, it's so hard going from this. And it was a guy, like, watching the Knicks going crazy. And then it says, the video flips, and he's like, it's so hard going from this to this. And it's a Yankee fan just, like, throwing his hat against, the freaking wall out of frustration. It has been really hard because I had, like, 2 months of pure joy and happiness, just pure like ecstasy watching the Knicks in the playoffs. It was just, it was just the most fun I've had watching one of my teams in a really, really, really long time. And then to go from that to just what the Yankees have been this past couple months is just an absolute disaster of a baseball team. It's been really tough. I feel like we can come back. I feel like we can, if we make the right moves and prioritize the right things, which is bats and bullpen, and just, hope that Judge comes back and, has enough time to be himself going into the playoffs. But it's been brutal going from that Knicks win all the way to what's happened with the Yankees. But it's going to be good. These next 2 weeks, we're going to get some great players, and I cannot wait to see what gets done. So, more to come on the Yankees. Let's go Yanks. So, flipping over, man, we are getting closer and closer to foosball season, which is freaking exciting as shit. Got Giants training camp underway under first-year Giants coach head John Harbaugh. Yikes, I messed that up. First-year Giants head coach John Harbaugh. Would it still be first year, even though he's not a first for the? Yeah, it's going to be John Harbaugh's first year coaching for the Giants. We got training camp starting off. I believe again, rookies report this week, the 23rd. They're starting off training camp in White Sulphur Springs in West Virginia, and then coming back to Jersey here. It looks like so. I think I've talked a lot about, some of the changes that'll happen, but I think one thing I'm sure you've heard me talk about a couple of times, especially with what we've seen with the Knicks recently, is that it is culture. And I think that can get overrated sometimes, but I'm a big believer in it as well, which I feel like contradicts itself, but just hang on here. But I think having a coach of this pedigree who's going to take no bullshit, who's going to go in there and really, put his foot in some asses. And I just feel like he just relates so well. He seems like a cool guy. I feel like he'll just really relate well to the players. So I think it's all about a winning culture. And I think one of the things that I'm like trying to compare it to, or like thinking about it the most, is when Tom Thibodeau came in for the Knicks. Again, he's not a guy that's won but a championship, but he has won. He knows what winning basketball looks like, not championship basketball, unfortunately, but like he can put together a team, put together a culture. He has a way with teams, like, he has produced basketball teams with top seeds and things of that nature, and he completely turned us around. I mean, it took 1 year of him being there for us to turn us around. Then we took a step back, then we got Jalen, and again step forward. So I truly do believe coaches can have a cultural impact. It's hard to do. I think it is easier when you have pedigree and when you have history and when you have, that kind of knowledge attached and respect attached to your name, which John Harbaugh does. Like, if you're, every single one of those Giants players should know what he has done with the Ravens. And, he won the one championship back in 2012. And hasn't been back, but every single year, even with the transition from Flacco to, to Lamar, every single year his freaking Ravens are competitive every year. Every year. They were always competitive. You always felt like they were going to be there at the end. They were playing exciting games in Week 16, Week 17, even if they didn't make the playoffs. You just knew they were always going to be there under his leadership. And I'm just excited. I think he's coming into, honestly, one of the more talented teams we've had in a while, which is not saying much because we haven't had super talented teams here. But I just think with Dart and Scat and Neighbors and Carter and Burns and Reese and Edmonds even, and some of our DB, like I think we do have a really solid collection of talent. So I think the biggest upgrade we've made this year is that coach. That coach, I think he's, one thing we've heard already is that his practices are going to be a little bit more demanding. Good. Maybe we won't be freaking gassed in the fourth quarter, and our defense can actually shut teams down instead of giving up 1 million touchdowns in crunch time and losing at the last second. Maybe that's what we need. I want those practices to be tough. I want these guys to, have pressure on them in practice, be, in great shape by the time week 1 rolls around. Because that's another thing. I feel like a lot of the coaches that we've had with the Giants will have these seasons where we're like 0-4, 0-5, 0-3, whatever the F out of the gate. And then we hit like a kind of like a little stride where you're thinking like, oh crap, like this team is capable of something. And then they just go completely back in the shitter. And then it's back to like, me wanting to tank for next year. But and I think a lot of that has to do, like, I know the famous Dan Campbell clip from Hard Knocks a couple of years ago with the Lions, where he was talking about like, yeah, I know you guys look at me crazy. Why are we practicing with pads on? And he's like talking about how like he wants his team to be ready for week 1, not week 5 when they finally hit their stride. And so I'm hoping that just his style and his leadership, he will get those guys ready for that opening night game against the Cowboys, and we can kick their asses and send them back to Dallas, because that is going to be a heck of a way to start off the year. Plus, we're going to have to fly to LA the week after that as well for a tough game. So we want to start off with a win against our rival week 1, and I think that starts with how training camp goes and how John Harbaugh is going to run the practices in training camp. I think the one thing I'm excited to see Jackson Dart with a full off season, knowing he's the starter, knowing he's going to be the week 1 starter, getting more comfortable with these weapons, getting comfortable with these new weapons. The conversation is not about how do we transition. We have Russell Wilson. Jackson is our guy. I think we have Jameson as great depth, which I love, because I just still like, as much as I want to think that he's going to play a little bit smarter, I mean, part of Jackson's game is that he's aggressive, so I have a feeling he'll be in the blue tent a couple of times this year. I hope I'm wrong about that, but I have a feeling that's going to happen, and I trust Jameis to play 4 or 5 games and maybe win 3 of those, if that is the case. So happy with the depth there, but I'm really looking for a big jump in year 2. I mean, my expectations for Jackson are just sky high, just because he showed so much unbelievable promise in that first year, and I just felt like there were so many things that were really good, so many things that he does that are unteachable also. I just feel like he just has that it factor. So maybe my expectations are a little bit unrealistic. I'm trying to get them back down to earth, but damn it, I want a winner, man. I want a winner. I want a consistent winner here. It's been so long since we've had a consistent winner. And so, that's going to be my biggest, thing that I'm looking at is this off season is how is he doing in practice? How are they getting him ready for that week one? How are they making him better from last year? And luckily he has a couple of new toys to play with. I think, knock on wood, he definitely has a more stabilized offensive line, which is amazing. With Mauanoa and Illuminor holding down that right side. We obviously have Andrew Thomas on the left. I think it's, again, knock on wood, but it just feels like we finally stabilized our offensive line. But also a big thing, too, the one thing that I think I loved most about watching Jackson play last year is that, and I think really great quarterbacks can overcome a bad offensive line. To the point of winning a championship, that's really tough. It is really tough. Bad offensive line play might not get you a championship, but you can overcome bad offensive line play and get into the playoffs every year if you're a really great quarterback. And I think we saw a lot of times even where last year the pocket broke down quickly, and just the way he can move out of the pocket and still keep his head downfield to either pass or take off and run is just a beautiful thing. And I think that's something that hopefully he won't have to focus on because the pocket will be better this year for him, just given some of the upgrades we've made. But I just think that's going to be even more deadly because of that too. If he does have to escape, if he does have to get outside and be creative and make things happen, I feel like he will have the capability to do so. I think he's such a stud. Glazing him pretty hard, but I just think this dude is so good. I hope Harbaugh and Nagy find a way to allow him to play aggressively while keeping him centered as well. So we'll see. Again, as far as my expectations, I never like to put I don't really care about stats with players. You want them to have good stats. My expectations is just the only thing that matters is wins or losses. Wins or losses. I think if we can win 10, 11 games, sneak into the playoffs, that is a awesome season. And when we've stuck into the playoffs before, we can make things happen. Those playoffs can be a crapshoot sometimes. So, anyways, I believe in this team. I believe in this quarterback, rather. So we'll see what happens there. I think one thing I would say is just my biggest concern, and it seems like he might be ready. It seems like he might not be, but Malik Neighbors. Worried about that knee. He's one of the most important players on our team. I think he has a chance to be a top 10 receiver in the NFL. I don't think with him being hurt last year in his rookie year, I don't think you could put him in the top 10 right now. But I think with this quarterback, because he didn't even get to play with him, which is such a bummer. I was looking forward to that so badly. I just feel like these two will make a great connection. I'm of the mindset of I think we can still win games with this team without Malik Neighbors being there for a couple weeks. We will eventually need him back. He is a weapon, and we will absolutely need him back. But I think some of the pieces and the wide receiver room right now, I think has enough pieces to sustain us for 3 weeks. But ultimately, we want Neighbors back practicing. We want him back as soon as possible, because even if he does get in the game, it takes a while to get that rust off. It takes a while to build trust in yourself. So even if he does come in week 4, it might not be till week 6, 7, 8 that we finally see the Malik Neighbors that we know and love. It's all exciting stuff. I feel really, really good about the team. I'm probably over optimistic, consider positive Ray right now, but just considering the past that we've had the past 15 years. But damn it, I just feel like this team's going to be good. I think we have pieces. And I really think we can make some noise happen. So we'll keep looking out for emerging stories as training camp kind of gets started here. Some battles that'll be happening, position battles. I'll probably go over that at some point, especially the wide receiver room, like I just talked about. There are some interesting position battles there. I think in DB there's going to be some interesting position battles. Our running back room right now with Scat and Tracy and Singletary will be interesting. So we'll have to see, but definitely going to be a lot of position battles, and but I am excited about a lot. There's some position groups that I'm very concerned about, but for the most part, I'm feeling good about a lot of our position groups. So, I think I'd ask that question to you guys, Giants fans. What's the one thing that Harbaugh absolutely has to fix during this training camp as far as culture, a position group? Let me know what you think in the comments. Would love to hear. I think there's a lot to be excited about there. So we'll see what happens. But, in closing here, the Yankees, we're entering a critical stretch here, again, without Aaron Judge, and Brian Cashman has some big-time decisions to make before the deadline. We're getting started with this new era of Giants football. So we'll see what happens there. But, again, appreciate anyone who took a listen. If you like what you heard, please like and subscribe. Everyone have a great week, and I look forward to diving into football here a little bit further. And go New York, go New York, go. Peace.